Roadwork runs.
Muhammad Ali made roadwork a ritual, running before sunrise through the streets of Louisville. Mike Tyson pushed it further, waking at 4 a.m. to run 3 to 5 miles in heavy boots. For boxers, this kind of long-distance running is the foundation of cardio. It usually means covering 3 to 6 miles at a steady, moderate pace. The goal is not speed, but endurance, training the heart and lungs to deliver oxygen efficiently over long periods. This slow, sustained effort builds what's called the aerobic base. During steady runs, slow twitch muscle fibers are heavily engaged. These fibers are designed for efficiency rather than power, and they adapt by increasing the number of mitochondria, the engines inside cells that convert oxygen into usable energy. More mitochondria mean the muscles can sustain activity longer before lactic acid builds up. Many fighters do this work on an empty stomach, known as fasted cardio. It forces the body to rely on fat stores for energy, improving metabolic efficiency. By stacking these adaptations over weeks and months, Roadwork expands both the cardiovascular system's capacity and the efficiency of muscular energy production. Sprints and hill runs. Manny Pacquiao became famous for his explosive hill sprints in the Philippines, charging up steep roads in Baguio City with his entire team following behind. These short bursts of all-out effort are a cornerstone of modern boxing conditioning. Unlike steady road work, sprint intervals train the anaerobic system, the body's ability to produce energy without relying on oxygen. This system is what powers a fighter through flurries of punches, sudden bursts of movement, and the final push in a close round. A typical interval workout alternates between 20 to 60 seconds of maximum effort running and equal or slightly longer periods of rest. Repeating this cycle conditions both the muscles and the cardiovascular system to recover quickly after high-intensity bursts. Over time, the body adapts by buffering lactic acid more efficiently and increasing tolerance to fatigue, which translates directly into sharper performances inside the ring. Hill sprints take this principle further. The incline forces greater recruitment of fast-twitch muscle fibers, building explosive leg drive and endurance simultaneously. The uphill resistance also reduces impact stress on joints compared to flat sprints, which allows fighters to repeat the sessions consistently without overuse injuries. Jump rope. Floyd Mayweather turned jump rope into an art form, often dazzling crowds with long freestyle sessions where the rope never seemed to stop moving. For boxers, the jump rope is more than a warm-up tool. It's one of the most efficient ways to build cardio, rhythm, and coordination at the same time. Continuous skipping elevates the heart rate into an aerobic zone while training foot speed and balance, both essential for maintaining pace in the ring. A standard jump rope routine can last 10 to 20 minutes, often broken into 3-minute rounds to mirror the length of a fight. The repetitive bouncing action strengthens the calves, ankles, and arches of the feet, reducing the risk of injury during long bouts of movement. Over time, the constant impact also improves bone density, giving fighters more resilient lower legs. Advanced variations, such as double unders, crisscrosses, and alternating high knees, add intensity that mimics sprint-like intervals. These movements engage fast-twitch fibers while keeping the cardiovascular system under continuous stress. The combination of sustained aerobic load with short anaerobic bursts makes rope work a direct transfer to the energy systems taxed in the ring. Bag and pad work. Mike Tyson's training camps often included relentless heavy bag sessions, where he would throw combinations in non-stop bursts until his shoulders burned. On the other side of the spectrum, Floyd Mayweather was known for marathon mitt routines with his uncle Roger, sometimes lasting well over 30 minutes without a pause. Both approaches show how bag and pad work can be tailored to build extraordinary cardiovascular conditioning. On the heavy bag, fighters train in timed rounds that replicate real fight conditions. The constant resistance of the bag forces the arms, shoulders, and core to stay active with every punch. Unlike running or skipping, bag work is sport-specific. It conditions the exact muscles and movements used in the ring. Sustained combinations over multiple rounds elevate the heart rate, pushing the cardiovascular system to deliver oxygen efficiently under muscular fatigue. Pad work adds another layer. A trainer's cues demand quick reactions, sudden bursts of speed, and defensive slips between punches. Because the pad sequences often involve extended rallies, they force the anaerobic system to produce repeated bursts of energy and then recover quickly, building endurance for high-output exchanges. High-volume sparring. Julio Cesar Chavez was famous for sparring as many as 12 to 15 rounds in training, sometimes cycling through multiple fresh partners in a single session. More recently, Gennady Golovkin built his reputation on high-volume sparring camps at Big Bear, where he would often stay in the ring long after most fighters stopped. This approach develops fight-specific cardio that no other drill can replicate. Sparring forces the body to perform under real combat stress. Unlike bag or pad work, the opponent dictates the rhythm. A fighter must constantly adjust footwork, defend, and respond with offense, all while maintaining composure under pressure. This unpredictable pace taxes both aerobic and anaerobic systems, creating adaptations that prepare the boxer for the variable tempo of a real fight. High-volume sparring also conditions the nervous system. Reaction time, decision-making, and coordination are sharpened while fatigue sets in, training the fighter to think clearly when exhausted. By structuring sparring to extend beyond the standard fight length, boxers create adaptations in both energy systems and mental processing speed that carry directly into competition. Shadowboxing. Vasily Lomachenko is often seen shadowboxing with surgical precision, moving around the gym as if an invisible opponent is in front of him. Muhammad Ali did the same decades earlier, gliding across the ring and throwing fluid combinations with no equipment but his own body. For boxers, shadowboxing is one of the purest ways to build cardio while reinforcing technique. Unlike bag or pad drills, shadowboxing is self-paced and demands constant movement. Fighters work in timed rounds, keeping their feet active, throwing punches, slipping, and pivoting. Because there is no resistance, the muscles are engaged in a lighter but continuous way, forcing the cardiovascular system to sustain activity without breaks. Over multiple rounds, this develops endurance in both movement and breathing rhythm. Shadowboxing also sharpens efficiency. By practicing combinations and footwork repeatedly, the body learns to move with less wasted energy. This lowers oxygen demand for each action, allowing fighters to sustain high work rates for longer stretches without fatigue. Swimming and cross-training. Anthony Joshua often incorporates pool sessions into his training camps, using underwater drills to build lung capacity and reduce joint stress. George Foreman, during his comeback in the 1990s, turned to swimming as a low-impact way to extend his conditioning without pounding his knees on the road. These examples highlight how swimming and cross-training give boxers an alternative path to superhuman cardio. Swimming demands constant engagement of both the upper and lower body while breathing is restricted by the water. This challenges the cardiovascular system differently than running, forcing adaptations in breath control and oxygen efficiency. Interval-based laps, underwater sprints, and extended freestyle sessions all simulate the anaerobic bursts and recovery phases found in a boxing match. Cross-training expands beyond the pool. Some fighters use cycling to build steady aerobic endurance with less impact, while others add sports like basketball to keep conditioning dynamic. These changes in movement patterns limit overuse, while still driving cardiovascular adaptation, making them especially valuable during long camps. Altitude training. Oscar De La Hoya prepared for major fights by training in Big Bear, California, more than 6,700 feet above sea level. Gennady Golovkin followed the same path, making the mountain camp his signature base for years. The thin air at altitude contains less oxygen, forcing the body to adapt by producing more red blood cells. These cells carry oxygen to working muscles, so the result is greater endurance when the fighter returns to sea level. Altitude training targets the aerobic system at its root. By reducing available oxygen, every breath and movement becomes more demanding. Over weeks, the body increases erythropoietin, EPO, production, stimulating red blood cell growth. This natural adaptation improves oxygen transport efficiency, delaying fatigue during long bouts. When fighters descend, they benefit from a temporary oxygen surplus, allowing them to push harder with less perceived effort. Some gyms replicate these conditions using hypoxic chambers or altitude masks, though the mask effect is limited to restricted airflow rather than actual oxygen reduction. Even so, both methods strengthen breathing muscles and force cardiovascular adaptation in ways that normal training cannot achieve at sea level. Breathing training. Oleksandr Usyk is known for underwater breath-holding drills, sometimes submerging himself for over 4 minutes while performing movements beneath the surface. Vasily Lomachenko has done similar pool sessions, combining swimming strokes with extended breath holds. These methods highlight how breathing control is deliberately trained to expand lung capacity and improve recovery during fights. Boxing pushes the respiratory system to its limit. Every punch contracts the core and forces an exhalation, and every slip or pivot requires precise rhythm between movement and breath. When a fighter loses control of breathing, heart rate spikes, and fatigue sets in faster. Training specific breathing patterns allows athletes to regulate oxygen intake and maintain composure under pressure. Techniques often include nasal breathing during light work to improve efficiency, timed exhalations during combinations to stabilize the core, and paced recovery breaths between exchanges. Pool drills and hypoxic exercises further strengthen the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, which control lung expansion. Strengthening these muscles directly increases ventilatory efficiency, delaying the onset of fatigue during sustained effort. Conditioning circuits. Mike Tyson's early training under Customato included bodyweight circuits of push-ups, sit-ups, and squats repeated in massive numbers, sometimes totaling thousands of reps in a single day. More recently, fighters like Canelo Alvarez incorporate modern high-intensity circuits with medicine balls, kettlebells, and resistance bands. Both approaches use the same principle, taxing the cardiovascular system through continuous strength-based movements performed with minimal rest. Circuit training blends aerobic and anaerobic demands. Exercises are arranged in sequence, for example, push-ups into pull-ups, squats into burpees, or kettlebell swings into planks. Each station is performed for a set time or number of reps before moving immediately to the next. This format keeps the heart rate elevated while also building muscular endurance. For a boxer, the benefit is the ability to throw hard punches late in a fight without losing strength or form. Many circuits mirror the structure of a boxing match, organized into 3-minute work intervals with 1-minute rest periods. Others deliberately shorten rest to condition recovery speed. By targeting multiple muscle groups, circuits improve both cardiovascular efficiency and muscular resilience under fatigue. Tyson's old-school calisthenics built raw endurance and toughness without equipment. Canelo's modern circuits combine explosive lifts, core work, and conditioning tools to produce the same adaptations with greater variety, strengthening both the muscles and the cardiovascular system simultaneously. Plyometric drills. Manny Pacquiao's training camps regularly featured explosive movements like squat jumps, clap push-ups, and medicine ball slams, all designed to sharpen his speed and stamina. Mike Tyson also used plyometric work, incorporating bounding exercises and explosive push-ups to build the fast twitch power that fueled his aggressive style. These drills are not only about power output, but also about conditioning the cardiovascular system to handle repeated bursts of effort. Plyometrics involve rapid stretching and contracting of muscles, known as the stretch shortening cycle. When performed in circuits, the constant jumps, throws, or explosive pushes demand both muscular output and cardiovascular endurance. The quick succession of high-intensity actions raises heart rate rapidly, mimicking the energy demands of a fight's sudden bursts. Explosive drills also improve efficiency in fast-twitch fibers. These fibers fatigue quickly, but with repeated training, they adapt by storing more glycogen and clearing lactic acid more effectively. This means a fighter can unleash flurries of punches or sudden footwork shifts without gassing out as quickly. Medicine ball slams, box jumps, and burpees are staples because they recruit the entire body while keeping rest minimal. By cycling through multiple explosive exercises, fighters build the ability to maintain power at a high pace. The adaptation is twofold: stronger, faster muscles and a cardiovascular system conditioned to supply them with energy under constant demand. Recovery methods. Vladimir Klitschko often used ice baths and cryotherapy during his championship reign to accelerate recovery after long sparring sessions. More recently, fighters like Tyson Fury have emphasized sleep and structured recovery routines as central parts of their training camps. These protocols are not about adding more work, but about ensuring the body adapts fully to the conditioning already performed. Cardiovascular adaptations from training occur during rest, when the body repairs muscle tissue and strengthens the heart and lungs. Without recovery, fatigue accumulates and performance declines. Sleep is the most critical factor. During deep sleep stages, growth hormone is released, which repairs tissues and supports the rebuilding of energy stores. Boxers who consistently sleep 8 to 10 hours gain more from their training than those who cut rest short. Ice baths, contrast showers, and cryotherapy reduce inflammation and muscle soreness, allowing athletes to train at high intensity day after day. Active recovery, such as light jogging, swimming, or mobility drills on rest days, keeps blood circulating, which clears metabolic waste and speeds nutrient delivery to muscles. Nutrition is also part of recovery. Adequate carbohydrates replenish glycogen stores used during sparring and intervals, while protein supports muscle repair. Hydration aids blood flow and oxygen transport, ensuring the cardiovascular system recovers as quickly as possible. Recovery protocols are what allow repeated exposure to hard training loads without overtraining, turning effort into lasting endurance.